special teams player is controlled.
To be such a good special teams player.
Inside.
Wolford sets, throws, looks to be.
Rush 4. Dalton. Picked off in the back of the end zone by Antonio Hamilton.
Welcome back to another episode of Press Coverage Podcast. I'm your host, E. Dansman. Taking a special guest sitting in with us, a former Strong Thurmond Rebel, former South Carolina State Bulldog, an NFL vet, and now currently by the way the Arizona Cardinals, man. It's no other than Antonio Hamilton, man.
Good with it.
Yo, bro, man, from me to you, definitely, man, just want to thank you for coming out, man, taking out your time, sitting down with us. Something we've been trying to put together.
Yeah.
And we finally in here, man. Thank you for coming down, man. But, you know, just before we dive into your amazing journey, man, from, from 25, from Edgefield all the way to the NFL, man, just want to get your initial thoughts on your camp today, man.
Oh, so Johnston, that's where I'm from. And man, the day was a great turnout, man.
For sure.
We had a lot of kids. You pulled up unexpectedly and contributed as far as with your time, and it was greatly appreciated because
No doubt.
I actually needed it because we had so many other guys that had pulled out last minute. They had, whatever events or whatever they had to do,
Right.
or whatnot. So, man, I mean, God lined it up how it needed to be, so we can get it going.
Right, man. Like I said, I had no issue with pulling up, man. Anytime I see, guys, man, doing something like that positive area, I'm from over here in Augusta, but anything in the CSRA, man, I'm definitely supported, man. Especially a guy like you just doing something positive, coming back and giving to the Johnson, Trenton, Edgefield area, man.
Yep.
Just seeing the faces on those kids today, they were amazed, man. And we talked briefly earlier, man, in our text. I said, man, today that changed, that right there changed somebody's life, man. Just how you come back and embrace them. You know what I mean? And just we'll talk a little bit more about the camp, man, as we get into the podcast, man. But man, just diving, right into your story, man. Like I said, you're from that Johnson, Trenton, Edgefield area, man. Just what was it like growing up in that area, man? And where did you kind of find your love for football and just for sports, period?
Man, so I just start off as far as with the love for sports. I grew up in a house full of athletes.
For sure.
My mom ran track, played basketball, did the whole 9 yards in college at West Virginia State. And then my dad, he played basketball briefly for Aiken Tech. And that's all we do in my family. Everybody plays ball. My oldest brother, of course, Jakar, he played in the NFL. Myself, I play in the league. This is my 8th year. My little brother, he played basketball at Newberry College. My little sister currently plays basketball for Alabama State.
Okay.
And so, man, we're just kind of engulfed. It's like the sports, anything dealing with, any type of competition is embedded in woven in between our clothing.
Exactly.
And so, man, growing up in Johnson, it wasn't the easiest. Of course, I don't know if you got a real opportunity to ride through or whatnot, whatever parts you came in, but you can see that it's nothing.
Yeah, it's not too much, man.
Heading out there, it's absolutely nothing. And so it was kind of difficult, but the good thing was that we didn't start off out there. I was born here in Augusta. I got a lot of family here in Augusta. They used to be in the Hyde Park area before they tore that down. And
I know some people out that way for sure.
Yeah, the Ruffins. And then my Hamilton side of the family, they all are from Johnston. Yeah. And so we lived in North Augusta when we first, was born and starting out living. I'd say probably about a good 7-8 years.
Right.
We lived in North Augusta, and then we moved to Johnston, and we kind of moved back and forth between North Augusta and Johnston until we finally stuck and stayed. I want to say my third or fourth, probably about my 4th grade year. Right. We kind of just stayed out there, and man, it wasn't a lot going on, but the community is very small, but we're very tight.
Gotcha.
So everybody knows everybody, and back in those times, we were outside a lot, so. And it was a lot more kids, of course, doing a lot of things. So even what seemed like it wasn't much to do, it was a lot to do for us because we made something out of nothing. A lot of us that played rec league ball together during this hot summers, we would get together and go and play baseball at the National Guard, or we would go and play football in my actual backyard and basketball as well in different places. But so we were always around doing something as far as when it comes to any type of sport. So that was the blessing in being in a really, really small area.
Right. I got you, man. And like you said, man, Johnson and that area, man, Edgefield, Trenton, it is a small area, man. But like I said, I seen today that the community is tight knit, so I can understand and see why, like you said, kids are outside playing, man, and the community just embracing you guys, man. So Strong Thurmond is the high school out there, man. It's always been a solid program, man. You coming behind guys like, your Ira Hillary, Coco Hillary, of course, your brother Shakar, who was able to win a state championship there in 2005, man. So, just what were just some expectations, man, you just had for yourself, man, going into Strong Thurmond with all those, great guys preceding you, all those good football teams?
Yeah, man. So, everything that I do as far as in regards to sports, man, I follow after my big brother, in everything. So, and when I was in middle school and he was in high school, I used to go over to the practices after our little football practice or whatnot. And I would always watch him. I was always around him. And just seeing, like, how good of an amazing athlete he was, I was like, man, I hope I get that big one day, because I wasn't very big. I was a real, real small kid all the way up until my 11th grade year in high school. So watching him, do what he was doing, making a name for himself, I was like, man, I'm on deck, you know what I mean? Like, I was 3 years behind him, so I was like, man, I gotta find a way to get bigger, get faster, get stronger, get taller, some shape, form, or fashion. Even though I wasn't in control of that at the time, but it was a lot of pressure to a certain degree. I've always believed in me and everything that I did, and I'm an ultimate competitor. So even when I was very small, I wasn't super fast or strong. I always competed.
That's it.
And like I said, I followed after my oldest brother in everything that I did. So I was used to playing with the older kids. I never really played with, like, a lot of the kids that were just my age alone.
Right.
Anytime he was going to basketball court or going to play football or something, I was trying to go with him and play with him. So I wasn't really necessarily just trying to, go play with kids my size. Like, nah, I was trying to go play with the older kids. So it was hard with me being smaller, but, I developed that competitive edge so that when it became a level playing field as far as it came to my physical attributes, it was cake, to be real.
Yeah, and I got you, man. Like you said, and I had Jakar down here in the studio, man, earlier when I first started the podcast, man. And I told him, I said, I was a guy that was playing ball over here in Georgia, and we heard about him. Such a, such a great athlete, not only in football but in basketball, and probably other sports as well, track, different sports. Sure. Like I said, Jakar was definitely one of them guys, man. Sure. When you heard, your Coco Hillarys and Jakar Hamilton, you definitely knew it was definitely be respected, man, in the area, man. They definitely done their thing, man, at Strong Thurmond. But like you said, man, Jakar and those guys, they leave, and you get your opportunity at Strong Thurmond. You do some great things, man, and you have a great career there yourself, man. I think you just 1 year behind me in high school. I come out in 10. I think you might have come out like 2011. So definitely heard about you in that area, in that era. So, just like any other great high school athlete, you have aspirations, man, of just going on to the, playing at the college level, playing college football. So, what was it like the recruiting process for you?
Man, so it was very hard. So just to take a couple steps back, so my junior year, like I was saying, I was a very small kid. Okay. So a lot of the times I got overlooked, by the coaches. Like, they know who I was and whatnot, but they just wasn't a firm believer in my skill set, just yet. So I say probably like my sophomore year, it was really before I took my growth spurt and started gaining weight. I was probably like in high school, I was probably about 5'4", probably like 98 pounds. Yeah. By the time my junior year rolled around, started growing a little bit, got up to like 5'9", 112 pounds.
Gotcha.
So during that time, I was sitting on the bench. I got a picture somewhere on Facebook when I was number 80. I used to average like 2 plays a game my junior year in high school. Man. So it was crazy. Like, I was out there just blocking basically. Yeah. And I was like, but every time I got in, I was trying to kill somebody. So I was just like, man, I'm just going to, take the opportunities that I got. I'm going to make the best of it. Exactly. And next year roll around, my brother, he was leaving Georgia military and getting ready to sign the UGA. Right. I had quit football. I was like, I'm done with this. Not for me, because I was actually playing basketball a little bit. Like my junior and sophomore year, I was playing on varsity or whatnot. So I was like, I had basketball dreams. And that's my first love, basketball. So the football, I was like, nah, I'm done with it. My brother, he did his signing over at Buffalo Wild Wings right here off Washington Road. Head coach Lee Sawyer, he came over to me there at the time. He was like, yeah, man, you can do this. I was like, nah, I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna keep playing that game with y'all, like really sitting on the bench and stuff like that. Like I know I'm good. And then at that point I was starting to grow, getting taller, putting on a little bit more weight. He was like, nah, I'm telling you, this your year, you should come out. And just seeing him sign, I was like, man, I done did it this long. I might as well, go out with a bang, just try to, see what it do. Go out, senior year, have a really really good year. Not enough to really earn any scholarships, though. Didn't really get a whole lot of looks. I had a few different teams that were interested. I even went down to dog night while my brother was at UGA and participated in the camp.
Okay.
Didn't get a scholarship offer, but it was like, of course, we know who you are. You're up here from time to time as your brother. We would like you to come on and walk on or whatever. I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to do that.
Right. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, and you kind of in your head, and I wish I had somebody really talking to me as far as when it comes to that at that time. Like, hey, man, like, forget the full scholarship stuff that you see, because you see a lot of guys get different scholarships, Presbyterian, little small schools, and even a few big schools. But I was just like, man, I need me a full scholarship or something. Like, I just can't come out the gate, just paying out of pocket. So go on, no type of buzz. So right as graduation was coming up, I had Carson Newman.
Yeah, Carson Newman,
which is a very small school.
Yeah.
I think Albany State, they hit me, and then
D2 school out of the HBCU.
Yeah, and then Carson, and then the University of Pikeville, which is an NAIA school, and they hit me up. And I was adamant on, I was like, man, I don't want to be close to home. I want to get away from him. Sick of this small town. I just want to go.
Right.
So without even doing any type of real full research on the University of Pikeville, I signed with them on a partial scholarship because they didn't offer full scholarships at that time, at least for ours. When I was coming out, they only offered a half. So I signed with them, went up there, and it was the worst experience of my life.
Okay.
The only black population was the athletes
in
the entire community, and it's not really just to, talk down on the area, but it just was what it was.
Yeah, I can relate to that, man. Boone's like that. Boone,
like
Boone, North Carolina is just like that. So
it was rough, man. So, and then I'm sure you got other questions, but just to start, the first day I got to Pikeville, me, my mom, my little brother Josh, and my grandfather. And I think that was all that was there with me to drop us off. 7-hour ride on number one to get out there. We get there in the middle of the mountains, middle of nowhere. I'm like, damn, like this it? Like this ain't college. Like this look like I'm not essentially back home, but I'm just in the middle of a hole. Like it was so small.
Like boarding school.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was like, cool, man. I started getting a little excited or whatever, because we had pull up on the campus or whatnot. I'm like, dang, this is it. But, I'm just, at that point, I'm kind of like naive. I'm like, man, I don't know how this going to go, so I'm just about to just go with the flow.
Gotcha.
So go in the locker room. First thing they do, hey, man, what's up? Guy from Union, the recruiter, he was from Union, South Carolina. He was like, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. Let's go in here and get you a jersey. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm finna get like a fly number or something, like 80-something, or, if they had a low number. But turned out I ended up having to get 47, like Michael Irvin, like real junk. And I was like, man, what the hell? I'm like, how many receivers we got? Man, it was like 20 receivers there.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
And so they were like over-recruiting. They had enough guys to have a JV team. So I'm like, dang, it's a lot of receivers. I'm like, cool, it's all good. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna turn up, do my thing. So by the time we get ready to season start, I have a good number. Ain't no worries. So we leave there after I get my jersey, see my locker and whatnot. So we go over to Walmart, and this was like the biggest thing. And I knew I wasn't gonna stay there after this. So we go to Walmart. I get out of the car and go in. Because I'm kind of excited, whatever. I got my little jersey. It ain't the right number, whatever, but I got to see the locker room and all that stuff.
Right.
So I had left everybody kind of behind, and I walked up ahead, and there was an old couple sitting on the bench right in front of Walmart. He tapped his wife and was like, hey, there's a nigga. And I was like, wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's how we're going to start day one?
That's crazy.
And like I said, I come from Johnston, South Carolina, so I've dealt with
racism before.
You know what I mean? Discrimination and stuff like that before. So it hurt And I was like, damn, because I'm just thinking naive. Oh, I'm going to college. I'm going to something bigger and better than where I was at. Nah, it was the same shit. So I was like, man, you know what? It's all good. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to, put my head down. I'm just going to grind. And of course, obviously, I ended up leaving. But I just let you get, before I keep going.
Nah, you good, bro. This your time, man. Like you said, when guys come in here, man, I let them talk, man, tell their experience, man. And, just let them do them, man. Like I said, I'm here tonight because of you, man. I want to tell your story, your process, man, to get to where you at now, man. But like I said, just, harping back on Pikeville, man, like you said, I went to first, didn't go to App State at first, went to Tusculum. You know what I'm saying? That's a school, rural Tennessee, man, out in the mountains, you know what I'm saying? A little campus is okay, man. Like you said, the black population was mostly athletes that's there on campus, man. So I definitely can relate to that. But at some point, like you said, you knew you wasn't gonna stay. You know you had to leave, and at some point you choose to go to South Carolina State, man. At that time, I think Jakar, he's left Georgia. He goes to South Carolina State. So now you once again, just like a strong Thurmond, now you're following right behind your brother, man. So just tell us about just a little bit of that time at South Carolina State.
So it was a little bit of a recruiting process as far as when it came to him.
Okay.
So I think it was like the University of Cincinnati, and there was a couple other schools that were recruiting him, and he was like, "Hey, I got a little brother who is leaving, college too. I want him to come with me." So he was trying to kind of work it out like a package deal, which was greatly appreciated. And his mom was like, "Look, we had whatever our situations and stints that we've had, in our respective institutes at the time. Let's try to bring it somewhere closer to home and try to see what we can do."
Right.
So South Carolina State came. I never forget. It was Mike Adams and Joel Taylor.
Okay.
They came down. It's like, look, man, we want y'all, both of y'all. Carl, we're going to give you a full scholarship. Antonio, we're going to give you a full scholarship too after you're eligible.
Okay.
Because at that time I was transferring from an NAIA to a D1AA school. So my credits and NCAA clearinghouse, it wasn't kind of like how it is now where you can transfer and play almost like immediately.
Right.
Now you had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
So I had to sit out a year, so I didn't get the opportunity to play with my brother. So, but we was like, cool, yeah, we're going to do it, yeah. So at first, I never wanted to go to South Carolina State because a lot of people from my school, it was always like, man, I'm going to South Carolina State. And I went to South Carolina State games, a couple of the games while I was in high school and middle school and stuff. And I was like, man, this is like a home, like a, you know what I mean, like a homecoming family reunion type of deal. Like, I don't want to see nobody I went to school with all these years.
Yeah, all the time. You're trying to get away from that element sometimes.
Exactly. I'm trying to be around something fresh, new, something I've never been around the scene. But it turned out to be the best decision. So we get there, Car on full scholarship, but I'm having to take out loans to go to school. And I'm basically kind of like starting over. So my first year of my first semester of college didn't even count. So I'm getting there. I'm just a regular student. I'm just and I wasn't even allowed to work out with the teams and stuff at the time, even though I was like a preferred, whatever.
Walk on. Gotcha.
So they I was just going to class. I was taking 18 credit hours every year to try to catch back up with my class so I can graduate in 2015 rather than 2016. And so my brother go on, he do his thing. And I'm just, I'm working out. I'm just going to class, working out and going to class. I had all A's throughout. And by the time my year was up, as far as having to wait, I got a call, and it was like, we still gonna, honor what we said and put you on scholarship X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. Well, push come to shove when it. Opportunity permitted itself. Nah, it didn't happen. So they was just like, man, yeah, just come out, do your thing, whatever. So I'm still taking out loans and stuff. So I'm like, man, I ain't tripping, man. I'm just gonna get here. My brother just got to the league because that was 2013.
Yeah.
At the time, his last year, so 2014 had rolled through, and that was his first year in the league. So I'm like, everybody like, yeah, man, your brother in the league, bro. You gonna do the same thing? I'm like, hell yeah. Like, and I was a receiver at the time. Like, I've been a receiver all my life.
Okay.
So I'm starting that year. Starting to start the training camp, and I'm seeing that I'm not playing a lot. So I'm like, man, I'm not gonna play that much, but it's all good. And most people that know South Carolina State, it's not known for really putting out offensive guys. And it's not to say we haven't. We got a number. We have had a number of guys to go to the league that play offense, but. It wasn't a big thing like it is on the defensive side.
Yeah,
so
you definitely had some DBs, some linebackers that definitely came out of South Carolina State.
Yeah. So I go through spring ball, receiver. and get to summer camp, and they give me a call like, boom, hey, you want to go to the league? And I was like, hell yeah, what I gotta do? I mean, I ain't playing much right now at receiver, so what y'all gonna do? He was like, hey, you come over here on the dark side and play safety. I was like, hell yeah, might as well, shit.
Right.
I'm down to do whatever. So I go through that year. I don't play at all on defense. I'm learning. I'm trying to figure out how to play safety.
Right.
And I'm just basically playing special teams. I'm running down on punt return, kickoff return, and blocking. Go through that year, whatever, didn't play at all. So I'm like, all right, let's see how this thing go. The whole coaching staff, the whole defensive side leave. Mike Adams went to, I think he went to Alabama, not Alabama State. Not Alabama State. South Alabama.
Okay.
He went to South Alabama, and Joel Taylor went to the Citadel. So I'm like, oh, man, they about to bring a new coaching staff in. I'm really not going to play. So this guy by the name of Tommy Restivo come in from University of Louisville. So I'm like, all right, cool, man. Let's see how this go.
Right.
First, we go through spring, mat drill, spring training, or whatnot. I'm starting at safety.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, cool, bet. He giving me a lot of opportunities. He said, then he come to me like, man, you really athletic. I think you should go to corner. It's like, corner? He's like, corner. He was like, look, you one of our fastest guys on the team.
Right,
you jump the highest. You just natural. Got a natural talent.
Right.
And I was like, all right, man, I believe you. I think you know what you're doing. So, yeah, hell yeah, might as well. So me and one of my old teammates, Mariel Cooper, we kind of switched positions. He went from corner to safety. I went from safety to corner.
Okay.
And so I started off safety, starting my junior year. It was weird. I had no technique. I was just out there just playing backyard football. It was like straight. And so I go on that year, have a decent year. And one of my teammates messed up. I want to say it was like the third or fourth game of the season. He had a study hall that he didn't report to. Of course, I'm not going to say his name, but he didn't go to study hall, so he ended up not starting that game.
Gotcha.
He was our punt returner and our kick returner.
Okay.
Now, I returned some in high school. Like I said, my senior year in high school was pretty good. I had a punt return touchdown for sure, and was on my first punt return back there. And so I was like, hell yeah, I can do it. You know what I mean? I was a receiver, so I know how to handle the ball. When I get it in my hand. First game, boom, we was playing Hampton. I had 2 punt returns where both of them was like 33 yards apiece.
Yeah.
So I'm 60 yards, and same like with kickoff return. So I'm balling.
Yeah.
And the next week roll around, he get back to his spot. They were like, hey, we think we're just gonna roll with him. For the remainder of the season. So it was like a blessing in disguise. Essentially, I hate it happened to him, but it gave me an opportunity to get the ball in my hands because that's what I do. And that's what I was very comfortable with. When I got a ball in my hand, I can move, I can do my thing. So I go, not to get so detailed into it, but I went on that year, I had a really good year at corner. I think I had 3 interceptions, and I made like second. It's crazy. I made second team or third team all. No, I made second team all conference at corner, and I made third team all conference as a returner. I had a fantastic year. I was the best returner in the MEAC, but I had third team all conference, which was crazy. But that year that I had third team all conference, I was number 1 in the nation as a punt returner and a kick returner as a returner specialist. I got my plaque at the house. So I was number 1 in the nation as a returner in the nation in all of
college football. Yeah,
all of college football, but I was only third team all conference, which
that's kind of crazy. Man, so it's kind of when you mention that, man. Like I said, I was a return specialist myself. So as you looking at all these returns, man, you looking at how we do as college athletes, man. We're looking at just the numbers, man. Who up top? I'm all in the MEAC. That's basically that's your your Division I black college football. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I'm over in App State in the Sun Belt, and I'm looking like, man, who this? I know this cat, and I see the name, and just look at the numbers, like, man, I can't never try, no matter what I would do. Yeah, man, this cat Antonio Hamilton, man, this guy got to be serious, man. You know what I'm saying? So I start kind of asking around, like, oh, that's Jakar's, Younger brothers. Okay. Because, of course, that's a school that Coco attended App State before I got there. So, him already knowing you guys back from back home,
right.
He kind of related it to me and put, 2 and 2 together, man. So, like I said, definitely seeing that coming, man. I was like, I just can't. I said, man, this guy right here, man, he's just ball. I don't think I can out-compete him, man. I said, no matter what I do, man, I said, if I take one to the house, he's going to take 2 to the house.
On me.
If I turn one for 60, he going for 80.
On
I said,
me.
man, it's crazy, man. But like I said, like you were saying, man, you get in, man, junior year, and you ball out, you get the ball in your hands, something you was comfortable with, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It was real that year. That year, that was probably my most funnest year, playing ball because I was doing good at corner. And then I was having a hell of a year as a returner. And it had got to the point where they were just trying to kick the ball away from me.
Yeah, when you get to that point, that's when you know you're really doing something.
Yeah,
sure.
And my first touchdown came against Bethune-Cookman. It was a close game. They were doing like rugby-style punts where they would the punter would catch it,
kind of run around.
They would take off and he'd kind of like shank it and so that it can hit the ground and just roll to get all his yards. So he did that because we was backed up. Well, they came across the 50. And so they were backing us up. Man, I never forget. The ball rolled. It took 2 hops. I said, if it take another hop, I'm going to the sideline. It was hopping on the sideline. I said, I'm going to go get it. It bounced. It took another hop. I'm like standing on the sideline. The net has came from Bethune. They punt team had came down. They almost like hovering the ball. I just run and
go get it.
Whoop, scoop it and cut across the field. Boom, I'm running. Outran everybody for a 92-yard punt return touchdown. And after I got that, I got to start getting a little returning accolades and whatnot. And it was a wrap after that. Man, that had my confidence through the roof. And then, so not to, like talk about myself, but I loved every time it got to 4th down because the crowd started chanting my name.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Let's go. I'm like, oh, yeah. I hope they kick it to me because I'm going to the house. And they knew it too. And the other teams knew it too, and I got that type of respect from it, and it was so fun, man. Like that was the funniest year for sure of my career. And senior year roll around, starting to get I got some buzz from the league, of course. I'm getting different interviews and stuff, and talking with a lot of different scouts and stuff. And I'm like, man, it's cool. I guess I'm gonna get this opportunity to play in the league. But still deep down, even though I had played well at corner, I was like, man, I'm trying to play receiver. I ain't really trying to do this.
You still a receiver at heart.
That's me. Like, I run routes. I catch balls. I score touchdowns. Like, I don't like defending nobody from scoring a touchdown. Like, that's hard to me at the time.
It is, man. To play DB, you got to be the best athlete on the field.
Man, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? You got guys coming at you full speed.
For sure.
While you going backwards. So you got to be a good athlete. Like I tell people, your defensive backs are your best athletes on the team.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It got to be.
Them and the tackles.
Yeah.
The tackles is basically a DB. You go look at the left and right tackles on film, watch them kick slide, and watch them have to defend a move. Like, they don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
they just know that they could have helping inside, just like we do out there.
Yeah, you might not.
And you might not. So it just depends on how the rush comes. And so, man, that senior year come around, like I was saying, I wasn't getting a whole lot of action. Nobody was throwing the ball at me.
Right.
All the punts were going out of bounds, and we were playing FAMU. I want to say, was it FAMU? I want to say it was FAMU. FAMU, like the second or third game, whatever. Something. It was an early game, and I caused myself trying to like force a return on a punt return, and as I'm getting ready to catch the ball, the defender dives with his head down and hits me right in the knee contusion.
Man. And
I thought I had like broke something or I maybe torn something because I had like a hyperextension on top of it.
Right.
So I'm on the ground. I'm yelling. I'm in pain. I'm getting to the sideline. I'm crying. I'm in tears. I'm like, Mom, it's over with. I know I'm done because I can't even put any pressure on my leg. Like, I know it's over with. So I'm just like going through these different range of emotions and different things like that. And so I go out. I missed like 2 weeks, 2 games. And during that time, we had a little freshman. He was super fast that they had recruited. And so they was like, hey, we're going to roll with him. And I was like, man, cool, it ain't nothing. We'll see how this goes. And he started having a little issues of fumbling the ball or whatnot. So we were playing Thurmond, and he had fumbled the ball. crowd started, man, put him back there. And I was like, y'all calm down,
The
man.
coach started feeling that pressure, man.
Yeah, and he started feeling it, and I'm going over there to talk to him because I'm a team first type of guy. I don't really care about no individual accolades, and I don't like to make the show all about me. So I'm going over to him like, bro, look, ignore everything that you're hearing right now. You that dude, and you got to keep that in your mind. Like, keep going, bro. Don't stop. You know, and this my senior year, like, and I'm trying to get to the league, but I'm like, man, it's not about me. It's about him. Like, he gonna be here for another 3 to 4 whatever years.
So you just trying to prepare him for what's to come.
Exactly.
You know
and so, they ended up not having to go back out there on punt return or kick return, and we ended up losing that game. And so the next week came, and we were playing Howard. So. And that was like really my first week back getting real fresh. And they was like, hey, man, we're going to put you back there again. I'm like, bet. So they started putting like 2 returners back. So they had him on one side and me on one side. Yeah. And Howard used to like doing this little, Howard like used to do this little funny, Hampton. They like to do this little funny little drop kick where they try to time, had a ball floating, and they just come and try to smoke you because they thinking they were like super duper fast or whatever. Yeah. Kicked the ball, sideline, kicked off return, picked it up, boom, to the house. I think I went for like 75 or whatever. So I was like, yep, this is the one that I needed. Like, this was the one to give me my confidence back because I had started feeling a little like weary back there and like getting a little shaky. I'm like, man, I hadn't got hit.
Yeah, and that's normal for any injury. Yeah. Man, you know what I'm saying? I got hurt returning as well, and that's, you're going to feel like that.
Yeah. You know and it was kind of rough to get out of that hump, but after I got that touchdown, like it came back like clockwork.
Like I said again, man,
gone, so.
You can't catch this dude, man. Nah. You see the numbers keep on going. Like I said, if I take one almost to the house, he gonna take one to the house. But like I said, man, for me, man, it's just like you just see it. You don't know who this guy really is, but it's like you just love the competition, man. Yeah. But you know, of course, man, you ran it down for us, man. Great 2 years at South Carolina State, man. Great junior year, man. Of course, get hurt in your senior year, but nevertheless, a solid year, man. And now, like you said, you're getting this NFL buzz, man. And in 2016, man, you go undrafted, I go undrafted in the same year, man. So, you know, you get a shot with the Oakland Raiders, man. The dream has finally come true, man. You make it to the NFL just like your older brother. But now you start to pave your way for your own. You got your own NFL journey to live, man. So let's just tell about, that first opportunity, man, being in Oakland with the Raiders.
So man, it's like a bittersweet thing. Like, I love Oakland to death. Shout out to Oakland, man. For real. If anybody hear this, I love Oakland. Mad love for Oakland. But I didn't enjoy it. Like my brother, of course, how my brother departed from the league. So I was like, I never really like had any fun with it in the beginning. I was super duper serious. And I was the last corner on the board for like every year that I was there. So you know how you do like the like they have their little assessments or whatever, and you talking to your teammates and stuff, of course, like that. You like, hey man, y'all boys went on any visits or whatever. All of them. Yeah, man, I had came out here, on a visit. I'm like, damn, I ain't going on no visits. I only had like 2 private workouts at my pro day with the coach. Shout out to Coach Drayton. He was the coach at the Citadel too. Okay. And he came from South Carolina State, and he was putting in the word on trying to put me on, and he gave me a private workout when he was with the Indianapolis Colts. And then the guy from the Jets, he had worked me out and stuff like that. So I remember briefly speaking with one of the reps from Oakland when it came down one time, but I never took it any serious.
Gotcha.
And the only person that really had a longer conversation with Oakland was my wife.
Okay.
I had missed a call. I was working out, and she was down visiting, and she answered the phone for me, and she was just talking to him for a minute.
Right.
And I got back, and I was like, who that was you was talking to? And she was like, man, somebody from Oakland. They wanted to talk, whatever. I was like, cool, Oakland. No, I ain't going out there, California, doing my training process. I'm like, I'm not going to California. That was always my mind, because I always heard about stories about how people in California had to have roommates because the cost of living was so high, and in New York. So in my mind, when I was coming out, I was like, man, I'm not going anywhere west, and I'm not going north. I'm trying to stay in the south, whatever. So just to step back, the draft come. Of course, I don't get called, but in the last couple of rounds, I had the 49ers and Oakland both going back and forth like, hey, man, we about to pick you in the 7th round. We about to pick you in the 7th round.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, come on, man. Well, go ahead and do it
yeah,
then.
go ahead
like,
and get me, man.
So we get down. I see both of their last picks, and they're like, man, we had to grab X, Y, and Z. I'm like, man, but man, it's all good, man. Just what's up with the opportunity? It was like, oh, yeah, man, that is nothing. So San Fran was offering me more money up front. They was going to offer me a $5,500 signing bonus. No, excuse me. It was offering me a $2,500 signing bonus up front.
Right.
And if they cut me, they were going to give me another $3,000 when they cut me. So that was $5,500 in total. So I was like, man, that's crazy. Oakland, they were calling, going back. We were going back and forth with them. Oakland said, look, we're going to give you $3,300 as a signing bonus. And I was like, shoot, I might as well go with the, $3,300 and get whatever I can, up front. But with that too, DJ Hayden, him and my brother are super close. They like kind of grew up together when they were younger. And I was like, man, that'd be dope, Jakar, for me to, go and play with like one of your brothers or whatever. So I'm going to go to Oakland, get my it was actually $3,500 after taxes was $3,300. So I was like, man, I'm going to go and get this little money, and I guess I'm going to go out west. I'm going out to Oakland. So I wasn't happy at all. I was like, man, I can't believe it. I'm like, God, I thought I said I didn't want to go out west. And I said, oh, this is the place for you to go. So I go, and like I was saying, them boys was like, man, yeah, we all been on recruiting visits. And then how they were splitting the reps up, I was always the last DB. I'm like, man, I'm not going to make this team.
Yeah, it gets you weary, man, when you go undrafted, because you're just like, man, and I've been through it, you've been through it. You've seen 8-year career, you've seen it up close, man. When you that back guy, man, and you wearing number 1 or something back then before these single-digit numbers became very popular, they give you number 1 or something like that, you like, damn. Hey, this the cut number. Yeah. Because I ain't got no number, so I got to wear a low-digit number. So I definitely can lean on that. I understand that, man, for sure.
Yeah. And in my mind, too, when I got to the league, I was like, man, I'm going to be number 32, because I had heard, I think it was Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah.
He was like, man, I got number 32 because all 32 teams passed on me.
Okay.
And that was my mindset when I came out. I was like, man, no matter what, I'm going to get number 32. So when I came in, lo and behold, look at my locker, number 32. Boom. I said, yeah, that's the perfect number. That's what I wanted. So I was like, man, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get on this team. And so I got there, wasn't really getting any defense around. So I'll probably get like 4 reps, like total on defense a day.
Yeah.
But
the reps are limited, for sure.
Extremely limited. So it's going to be extremely difficult to make a play. Yeah. But it's going to be really easy to mess up on a play, because you going through the whole entire playbook, and you don't know really what's going to get called. Like, they might call J or cover 2, and you praying to God that you get one of them so you don't mess up on any technique. You can do it crisp,
something simple.
Easy, something simple. Man, they'll get in, call it crazy behind pressure on you and expect you to know it, and then you got to know what the safety supposed to be doing. So when you mess up, you like, man, what was your safety doing? I'm like, shit, coach, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I got to do.
Yeah,
and so I was messing up on defense. But the one thing, the couple things that I had, I was extremely fast. And I was extremely strong, and I did not know the difference between jog through and a full speed rep.
Right.
Every rep that I did was full speed.
What's up, man?
I got in trouble so many times with Jack Del Rio and Ken Norton Jr. They used to call me Rook, and I was like, boy, your ass don't know how to gauge no type of tempo. Don't you see how everybody else moving? I'm like, coach, man, I hear you. I'm trying. But that's all I knew. Like, I didn't know nothing about no walkthrough or no like 3/4 tempo. Man, all I knew was super fast or the day before the game, literally walk through.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about no shells and helmet. Man, it was full speed go. So I'm knocking over people at practice and stuff. I'm getting cussed out. Man, you stupid. You about to get us fined. I'm like, dang, man. And I'm talking to the receivers and stuff. Like, we all standing in the same hotel. I'm like, dude, why y'all always fall every time I'm touching y'all? Like, y'all got to stay on y'all feet. I'm not even going that hard. They're like, damn, man, you strong, man. You just running into it. I'm like, damn, man, y'all boy gonna get me cut. Man, I finally get my first opportunity The second preseason game, I ended up getting hurt right before our first preseason game. Blew out my hamstring. I was devastated. And I was like, for sure knew I was going to get cut. Missed the game. Went out there. We was playing Green Bay when I got my opportunity. My childhood favorite team growing up. Okay. I was a big Packer fan. And got to be at Lambeau Field and all. So I was soaking it in. I was like, dang, man, this is what the league like. And my old teammate at the time, Joe Thomas, he was playing linebacker for the Packers. So, and my oldest brother, his literal brother, Dimitri Goodson, was a corner for the Green Bay Packers. And so I got to see them boys, and man, it was cool. It was super dope. And I got my first tackle on a kickoff. No, I was on punt. I was a gunner, running the hump, getting double teamed. Boom, made the tackle. Turn. The next one, boys dumped me on the sideline. I was drinking Kool-Aid and when I wasn't supposed to. I'm like, dang, man, I'm thinking it was sweet. Man, what? It was real quick. And that was probably like one of my most fun and most memorable games, like just off of that alone, because that was my very first time putting on a Oakland Raider uniform and actually performing and competing. And it was cool. And then we had one of our corners tear his ACL at practice, and he was going to make the 53-man roster because he was on practice squad last year, and they loved him. So their nucleus was pretty tight. They all, they were hanging out and stuff, doing all that. And I was like an outcast. It was me, my roommate Kenneth Dirty. We came in together, and Carl Joseph, the first-round pick safety from West Virginia, and it was just us three. And I was like, man. Them like Carl was hanging out and doing his thing because he was gonna be there, and KD was moving around a little bit too. But me, I was like, man, I'm trying to make this team, man. Y'all boys got it. They know y'all name. Y'all have been on visits or whatnot. And so they ain't really rocking with me like that really right now. But the special teams coach did like me because I was super fast and I was super aggressive. And he was like, "Ham, man, you just keep putting on weight and keep getting fat and just just doing what you're doing. You're gonna be all right." And then I'm just thinking he just like buttering me up. And I ain't really hearing that. And I had an older guy by the name of Nico Thorpe in front of me too. And he was a beloved special teamer. So I'm trying to learn all I can from him and Tywan Jones. Tywan really taught me how to be a special teamer because I watched everything that he did and I just tried to mimic it. And we were not the same by any means, but I saw how successful he was. I saw how they treated him, how they talked to him. So I wanted to know and be everything that he was. And so, like I said, the other DB ended up tearing his ACL. He got hurt, so I started getting a little bit more reps from defense. My special team started taking off. I actually got a clip on my Instagram page. In the last preseason game, I was like, man, this is it. This is all or nothing. And I had a crack block back when they used to allow it. Man, on punt return, my homeboy Dre set it up so smooth. It was this tight end from Seattle. About to go in and make the tackle. I circle around. You see me like kind of like waving my arm, like trying to slow myself down because in Oakland we played on the baseball field. The baseball season was still going on, so you'd be running through dirt. And then the grass was terrible. So I'm trying to get my footing right. I'm like, okay, I'm about to kill him. Smoked him. Boom. That one play alone solidified it for me. When I hit him. And I stood up and started celebrating. They was like, "Oh yeah, he can go, he can play." So go on. They making cuts and stuff because during that time they was making they made the 3 cuts. So the final cuts and stuff came up after that game the next day. I'm thinking nothing of it. And I'm like, dang, my teammate he got the call. My roommate got the call. Man, they had let him go, but they was gonna sign him back on pre-squad and stuff. So I'm like, cool. So I'm going out. Get my gear onto the facility because we had to have we did like a tempo type of day. Where we work out, do tempo runs, stuff like that. So I'm out there, I got my stuff on. I'm like, cool. I'm looking around. I'm like, man, there ain't that many people out here. I wonder what's going on. I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, 52, 53.
Yeah, they made the cut.
3. I'm like, damn. I'm like, man, nah, they might. I don't know. They might got them boys like in the other room or something. Like just, I don't know. I get it. We finished the jog through. or whatever, Lamont Winston, our player engagement guy, called me to his office along with Anna Lee. It was like, hey, man, congratulations, man. You made the team. I was like, what? It was like, you made the team. I was like, the 53-man roster team? It was like, yeah. Burst out in tears, started crying. I boo-hoo crying. Because the week before that preseason, I had talked to our DB coach at that time, Rod Wilson. He was like, yeah, man, you good, man. You going to make practice squad. Like, you know, I was like, good, man. Yeah, and I was excited about that. I was like, heck yeah.
Player, I was happy to be around.
Right, me and my dog, Katie, I'm like, Katie, you hear that, bro? We're going to be on practice squad. It's going to be lit, bro. Yeah, I'm in the league. Let's go.
In the league, practicing, but not really playing. You kind of like freelance. It's a red shirt.
For sure. So I'm like, man, and that went down, and I ended up making the team over Nico Thorpe. And because he was coming off of, like, I think a knee injury or something like that. Yeah. And I think he just wasn't healing as quickly as he needed to.
Nutrition is important.
And so, man, extremely important. Availability is the best ability. And I was available. I got hurt early on in camp, but I got back healthy at the right time.
Gotcha.
And when I made that 53-man roster, man, it was crazy. It was just mind-blowing. And so I knew then, I was like, man, I'm not dressing though. So season start, I wasn't dressing. I only played in like 4 games, I think, my rookie year. And every day though, I was like, man, I'm gonna get cut because the 53rd, 52, we know whatever man, the ones that are at the bottom of the roster, those will be the first guys to get let go. Like, say a guard get hurt, they got to bring another guard in. They're going to let you go because you don't dress. Yeah. And so they can fill that position. I was like, man, so every day I used to be dead scared. Like, man.
On pins and needles, man.
Any day now, man, I'm going to get cut. And it used to be crazy because them boys used to get on me. Khalil, Bruce, Reggie Nelson, Sean Smith, David Amerson, DJ Hayden, TJ Carey, them boys, man, Ham, you stealing, man. You just practicing. You on the 53 roster, getting game checks, man. You stealing. I'm like, man, y'all boys, shut up. Stop saying that, man. For them folks here, before here, you cut me, man, all because y'all boy hate because I'm on 53. I ain't got to play, but I'm getting game checks. Yeah. And I'm like, man, y'all boy got to chill. But then I didn't know that playing in the games, you get a player performance check. Yeah. So they was like, yeah. After I played in my first game. We played, I want to say the San Diego Chargers. Okay. And that was my first time dressing. I was just on kickoff and kickoff return. Super smooth. They was like, yeah, Ham, boy, you better get as many reps as you can. That's $500 a play. I was like, what you mean that's $500 a play? They said it's a thing called player performance. So, you know, the less money you make, the more money you make on the player performance end. Yeah. So every play that you out there on that field, that's $500 a play you get. And I got hooked and I got hip to, and I was like, oh, snap. So I'd be over the sideline. You know, I think we won that game by like a couple touchdowns. Like, hey, bro, let me get the last couple. They just gonna kneel. Let me get them plays. So I get that 500. Like, nah, boy, I got to get there. I was like, dang, man, that boy is selfish.
Yeah, everybody they're trying to eat, man.
Yeah, so, man, it was cool, though.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Like I said, cool. Seemed like this was a great experience for you, man, in Oakland, man. Like you said, before you went to Oakland, man, you said, man, I don't want to go out west and I don't want to go to the north. Okay, you spend 2 years out in Oakland, man, and then, you know, you end up going to the Big Apple, man. You end up going to the Giants, man. Somewhere you say you didn't want to be, but, you know, like you said, man, God seen it fit for you to go there, man. So I know in New York, man, you know, still a special team type guy, but now starting to play in some games, man. You know, during that time, I'm doing my run in the league too. So we kind of looking and seeing some difference. I'm like, hey, man, my man's he playing now and getting some reps in the game, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, and you there with Eli, you there with Odell, man, doing it there, you know, at his height when he was really that guy, you know what I'm saying? Yep. So, you know, what was just like that New York experience like for you?
Man, it was super cool. So New York is really what started my career. That's when I started playing a whole lot. Yeah. Started that third year. I started off in Oakland during the training camp. Okay. Our coaching staff had got fired and they brought John Gruden in. Yeah. So I was like, dang, they gonna clean house. Because I had been around a little bit. I seen a few different things, kind of learn how the league go, and I'm like, okay, I see how to move. This year I got a ball during preseason, so I got some real good tape. So if anything happened, you know, I'm gonna get picked up, no problem.
Yeah, because go out. In the preseason, you're not only trying out for that team, but
you're trying out for all 31 other teams. Yeah. And so I had a great preseason, man. Great preseason. And I was like, man, I know I'm gonna get cut. And Reggie McKenzie, the GM at the time, he called me and he was like, yeah, man, I ain't really got a lot of control with what they got going on right now. But we're gonna let you go, but we want to bring you back on practice squad. Now, mind you, the 2 years, prior to Gruden being there, I was on the 53-man roster. So I'm like, man, ain't no way I'm getting my third year and now I'm going to practice squad. Like, I cannot go backwards. So I had told him, I was like, look, I'll go home. I'm not going on practice squad and making that practice squad money, staying out here, And at that time, I'm learning about money. I'm learning about taxes, and I'm trying to.
California's very expensive.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'll really just, me and my wife and my daughter, we'll pack up, we'll go home, just stay home and pray to God that something shake. New York Giants had the second pick in the draft that year. They drafted Saquon Barkley. Yeah. So when I got waived, and how the waiver wire goes, it goes in order of the draft picks.
Right.
So the New York Giants had the second pick, as far as to say who they wanted. So they claimed me off of the waiver wire, and that's how I ended up in New York.
Okay.
So I got waived that Saturday. Sunday, me and my wife and my daughter, we went to church. We was like, yeah, man, it's all good. Like, God gonna work this thing out. I had my talk with Reggie McKenzie. I'm like, I'm not coming back on practice squad. I'm just not gonna do it. Like this. It is what it is.
It's a business decision.
Yeah,
at that point.
and exactly that's what it was. Get a call, boom, New York Giants. Hey man, because we were seeing like little tracking stuff just to see, like reading tabloids and blogs and stuff. And my name kept popping up a lot, like with the New York Giants.
Gotcha.
And I was like, man, I don't even know nobody in New York. Like I don't even know how they would even know me. And we didn't even play them in the preseason type. So I was like, shoot. Man, we'll see what it is or whatever. So we go to church. I'm in church service or whatever. I get a call. Hey, it's the New York Giants, man. We gonna claim me. I'm like, cool. So you're a New York Giant? I was like, oh man, bet. Man, it was like, when you think you can fly out? I was like, man, I'm in church right now. It was like, we're gonna get you a flight out Monday morning. I was like, bet. Boom. So I'm talking. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm a New York Giant. That's cool. Yeah. Talking to my wife and stuff. Get another call back like 20 minutes after the service was over. Hey man, can you get on this flight in the next hour? I'm like, oh man, I ain't got nothing packed. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm on the way. Shoot.
Yeah.
Boom. Me and my wife, we went to go pack a little mini bag. Go fly to hotel to San Fran. Jump on a flight, go to New York. So we get there, and it was a cool experience. They brought me in, they chauffeured everything, like top of the notch.
Yeah, New York is nice, man. Very nice.
And so the whole process of, now I have to move.
Right.
I had never had to do that. So I'm like, now we got to go back and move all that stuff. But how I'm going to do that? I got to be in this, I got to play. And my wife like, nah, I'm going to take care of everything back at home. So like me being married was like the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me coming into the NFL, because my wife she's that dude as far as when it comes to everything, as far as with finding us places to stay, any furniture, getting transportation, as far as moving all the cart, man. She's the top notch when it comes to that. Shout out to my wife, Tierra. Yeah, shout out to that, for sure. And she was like, nah, I'm gonna take care of all that stuff. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna fly, get like my grandma and mama, whoever to come out. They're just gonna help me pack, and we're gonna ship everything out. So while that was going on, I'm getting to New York. I'm trying to figure out, like, dang, I gotta learn a new playbook, new system. I get there. Coach Lou was the DB coach at the time. He's now the DC for the Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. And he was straight up with me. He was like, hey man, Thomas McGahee, he really likes you a lot. That's a special team coordinator. You should go talk to him. I'm like, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go holler at him. I seen him. He was like, man, look, I'm just gonna be straight up in front of you. Like, you don't worry about the defensive playbook. Like, you probably not gonna play a lot, right? Yeah. Like at all. We got our guys that's been here, that's on practice squad. If anything goes wrong, we have all the faith in them. I was like, I'm totally cool with that. Yeah. I really don't have a problem with that, because I was like, man, I'm gonna earn my way. Like, he gonna trust me at some point. Right, exactly. Nah, I didn't play one defensive snap that year, but Thomas McGahee, the special team coordinator, he loved me. First week I got there, starting at gunner.
Yeah.
You know, and I hadn't started a game at gunner. I hadn't started a game on punt return. The only thing I had did in Oakland was on kickoff and kickoff return.
Right.
So he obviously seen something that, you know, no one else had seen. And
That's
so
for sure.
I go out, I make a couple tackles, I'm doing good. He was like, yeah, man, see, I knew you were going to be good at this. I'm like, man, you saw something that I didn't know because this is my first game. We was playing Jacksonville Jaguars on the first week that I got there. And I ain't know nothing. He was like, nah, you going to be my guy. And
that's what's up, man, that he seen that in you.
Yeah.
You know, because in the league now, man,
Yeah.
you know, the kickoff, and that was kind of my story, was that, you know, being a kick returner.
Yeah.
And now that the kickoff was up, now there was less, you know, kickoff returns.
Yep.
So now I have to go in and catch punts. So, man, shout out to that coach, man, for
Yeah.
just seeing that in you because sometimes you may not see that, you know, you might be in position, you know, to make that play or, you know, or that block or that tackle, but sometimes you just don't make it because the ball going out the back of the end zone.
Right.
So shout out to that coach, man.
Hell
Just seeing that in you early, man. Seeing that, you know, seeing something in you, man. Because sometimes, you know, something don't even, you've been in the league long enough that sometimes, man, you can just get passed over, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's shout out to him for that, man.
Yeah, and like he just took me underneath his wing, and then I was like, man, I'm a special teamer.
Gotcha.
And I just wore it. I was like, man, I ain't even tripping off no defense.
Yeah.
So like I was telling Coach Lou told me, man, I used to go into defensive meetings and I used to go to sleep because I had got just that comfortable and I was doing that well on special teams. I was like, look, they ain't putting me in on defense. I know what I got to do on special teams. So I'm sitting in the front row, sleep, knocked out. And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but
it's real,
he had his guys who he wanted to play with already. So I was like, cool. Ain't no need for me to stand up. I mean, sit up and you know, waste my time trying to watch this.
Hey, man, I got the same conversation in Minnesota, man. You got Trey Waynes there, Zay Rose is there. You know what I'm saying? So we pretty much know who's gonna be playing. They got one of the #1 defenses in the league at the time.
Yeah.
If not, I think they were the #1 defense in the league during those few years that I was there. So, like you said, man, you know, why even put this effort in to something that I know I'm not, you know, not gonna be a part of.
Facts. And man, I went on to have a great, you know, 2 years in New York as a special teamer. Made a ton of plays on special teams, and then the second year, all of them left. Coach Lou, the whole defensive staff, like not the whole entire defensive staff, but all the DB coaches, they all left.
Gotcha.
And our coach DC brought, I can't even remember his name, but he brought in a whole new, you know, secondary coaching staff and whatnot. So they come in and they give me an opportunity to play because we had Janoris Jenkins and we had Eli Apple who were the starters. Eli Apple ended up getting traded the year prior to, so they drafted DeAndre Baker from Georgia that year. So he was a rookie coming in. They was expecting him to start, and then I started having a really good camp, and so I ended up starting week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys.
I remember that. I seen it.
Had a terrible game. Terrible. I gave up like 140. A touchdown, and it was just bad.
It was your welcome to the league moment.
That was definitely my welcome to the league moment. And I'm like, dang, man, this year 4, and I'm, you know, finally get my little shot at defense, and boom, I blow it. I'm like, man, I gotta get back in the lab, man. I gotta get in this playbook. I gotta lock all the way in. And I'm like I said prior to the year before, same defensive system, but I didn't play not one defensive snap.
So it's brand new for you.
All new. So I go on. Start back, I go back to special teams. I'm doing my thing still on special teams.
Right.
I'm gonna just fast forward all the way through the year. I started playing a little bit like in spurts throughout that year. Right. And then the last game of the season, one of our corners got hurt. He was supposed to start. We got killed that entire season. We sucked. It was like, "Ham, we need you to start." I'm like, "Bet, finally." Yeah. So I started the first game of the year and then lost the job, and all the way back to the last year, it came back full circle. And I'm like, bet, we was playing the Eagles. I was like, oh yeah, I'm finna go nuts. This is the last game of the season. Yeah. I know I'm going home after this. Right. My bags is already packed, and I'm already at the crib. So let's go ahead and get this thing over with. Right. And I'm ready to play. I'm trying to get as many snaps as I can. I think I played in 100 snaps that game because I started all of the defensive snaps. Right. I played on punt return. I did kickoff and kickoff return. The only thing I didn't do was gunner because Coach T-Mac was like, "Ham, I want you to, do your thing on defense. Like, don't worry about, we gonna be all right. We gonna hold it down." Right. So I go out there, snap. I got targeted 9 times. I had 4 pass breakups. I dropped 2 interceptions because it was kind of like raining. But there's no excuse. I got to catch those. And I only gave up 2 catches for like 30-something yards. One was on a 3rd and long, and I stopped it for a 4th down stop. And then another one was on a rollout. It was on a rollout. The D-line lost contain. Receiver, he did scramble drill.
Yeah.
Broke out, ran to the sideline. Ooh, Carson Wentz made a hell of a throw on the side to him. And that was the only catch I gave up, was like 20-something yards. And so it was smooth, man. That was the greatest game that I had played that far in my career. And so coming into that year, they was trying to lock me in New York, but I was tired of losing at that point. So Kansas City had called. They just coming off of a Super Bowl just to go head on and get into that.
Yeah.
Kansas City called, and I'm like, man, them boys just won a championship last year. Got to go.
You there with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes is there.
Yeah.
Fresh off a Super Bowl win.
Right off a Super Bowl win, and they didn't lose nothing. They lost absolutely no one.
Yeah, Tyreek's back.
Yep, everything. Man, I'm like, man, I'd be a fool to turn this down. And I turned down like $2 or $3 more million that New York was trying to give me for me to stay. And I was like, nah. But Kansas City, they couldn't give me a whole lot of money, but they said they can fully guarantee my contract. And I was like,
you don't see that.
And you don't see that. And I knew that I was going to have a shot at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, talked to my wife. She was like, it's up to you. I think, whatever you do, you made, all the hard decisions and all the hard choices up, here to this point. Whatever you do, I'm rocking with it. So, you make whatever decision you feel. I was like, I'm going to Kansas City. And COVID hit. Boom.
Yeah, that was the pandemic season.
Mm-hmm. Pandemic season. It was crazy. So all them years I've been something with number 3. In high school I was number 3.
Yeah.
College I was 13. NFL I was 32. When I was in New York I was number 30. Yeah. So I'm like, man, I'm having 20/20 vision this year. 2020. I gotta do something. I gotta do something different. I'm gonna get to number 20. Boom.
Yeah.
Do that. Go through, have a good season, really good season.
Yeah.
But I didn't have as great of a season as I had as a special teamer because we were so good on offense.
Yeah,
and I wasn't even thinking about it, so I wasn't doing a lot. Yeah. I think I only had like 7 special teams tackles. So it was a pro and a con to it. So I turned down the money on the front end, so I can make it on the back end because the special teams and all of that stuff. And the playoff checks made up for what I had essentially kind of lost with New York.
Being in the Super Bowl.
And in the Super Bowl. And so I made the money back, but I shortchanged myself because we weren't good at all when I was in New York on offense. Not really. Like, we was almost dead last.
Right, so you accumulated those plays.
I was getting hella reps. Yeah. I wasn't really getting a whole lot of reps in Kansas City, but I was playing more defense too. So I was doing a lot of nickel, corner, safety, doing everything. And so I didn't have the year that I needed to have, and so we go to the Super Bowl, we get beat by Tom Brady. It was bad. It was terrible. Yeah. But I was still
in that pandemic season where, fans weren't allowed, all that type of stuff. And, it's like say Brady leaves, he leaves New England, man, and gets into Tampa and wins it the first year against you guys. I remember that. And I remember you playing on those teams. I was like, man, that's just Carl's younger brother. I said, I hope those guys win it, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I hope we're able to get them a ring because a lot of guys go through the league and, they play long careers and they don't even get a chance. Some of the guys don't even get a chance to play in the actual playoff game. I'm really cool with Brandon Marshall, man. He's never even played in the playoff game.
Same with me with Takeo Spikes. Same way.
He's you arguably say he's probably a Hall of Famer, man.
Yep.
So not even in the playoff game. So like I said, look at the opportunity that you got. Lost the game, but when in retrospect, it doesn't even matter because it's that experience. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah, man. And so like I was saying too, like we lose. And I'm thinking like, man, coming off a Super Bowl, appearance year, it's going to be another great year for me, just like it was, when I left New York last year to come to Kansas City. And I was thinking that Kansas City was going to offer me back because I led them in all special teams categories.
Right.
They didn't even offer me back. So that year coming off the Super Bowl, I had not one job offer from nobody. And I'm sitting at home all this time, and I'm like, God dang. I'm like, what did I do wrong? I'm coming off a Super Bowl, like every team see that. So it should be no question as far as me being able to play ball. So me and my wife, our wedding anniversary came up May 6th. You know, we were celebrating in Atlanta, downtown, and my agent at the time gave me a call. Boom. They were like, hey, man, I got a job opportunity for you. And I was like, man, what happened? And he was like, so Tampa Bay called.
Yeah.
They want you to come do a rookie minicamp. I was like, rookie minicamp? I'm not doing no damn rookie minicamp.
Yeah.
Like, I'm known around the league for being a really good special team.
This is like going into year 5.
I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, he was like, man, just think about it, consider it, whatever. And I'm like, all right, bet. I talked to my wife, and she as real as it gets. And I'm like, man, I'm not doing that. I'm not. What I look like, I done did my time already. Like I'm kind of like established already. Like I shouldn't be having to go do all of this. She said, boy, go get that money.
Yeah.
Go get that money. I was like, bet. That's all I had to hear.
Yeah.
Went down to Tampa, participated in rookie minicamp. Did good enough, earned a contract. They gave me minimum. I was like, bet, cool. We good. We locked in. So I get there. I'm doing corner, nickel, and stuff. You know, fast forward to training camp. Had a really good preseason, and it was crazy that they cut me. It caught me by surprise, and everybody else.
At this point now, I'm not, home and recovering from injury, not playing anymore. Basically career ending, and I'm looking at it like, damn, how the hell he get cut? You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, like he was balling out, because a lot of guys, and I know them from the area, different guys I might have crossed paths with. I kind of lock in on them, just kind of see what they're doing. And I'm like, man, Ham, he didn't went to the Super Bowl with Kansas City. He goes now, he transfers and goes to the Super Bowl champs. And you got Tom Brady, so you always got an opportunity. They're bringing back their team. They're bringing back their whole team. Yep. So it's like, man, now he got, he's balled out. Now you got another opportunity. He's going to get another shot at it. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And I was thinking the same thing, and they was obviously thinking the same thing too. But up top, they had different. They had a different plan, and so they let me go. And they was like, hey man, we're gonna bring you back on practice squad. Like, don't leave. I was like, hell nah. I'm flying back. I'm getting my stuff, and I'm going home, because I had everything. Because I knew it was a for sure thing, but something was telling me, my spirit was like, don't sign a lease yet. Just wait. Just wait. And thank God I didn't sign that lease, because they cut me like literally right. I was the day before, and I was like, man, babe, we might as well go ahead and sign the lease, lock it in. Right. We had found a school for my daughter to go to school in down there and everything. But something was just telling me, like, just wait it out and see. Boom. Lo and behold, I didn't make it. So I had my car, packed my car up. I drove all the way back from Tampa all the way back to Atlanta, to my home at the time, that I currently stay at. And they were calling me like, hey, man, where you going? Man, come back. Like, we about to sign you back. I'm like, man, y'all crazy. Ain't no way I'm being on practice squad here. Like, y'all know what I do. Like, I know I'm good enough to be on this team, so I ain't even tripping off that. Like, y'all can have that. Like, if y'all don't think I'm good enough to be on y'all 53-man roster, I'm definitely not going to be on y'all practice squad.
Yeah, because Tampa Bay was definitely, they had some good players, but they were very top heavy.
Yeah.
Down the roster.
For sure.
Down the roster, when talking about special team play, it wasn't the best.
No, they didn't have anybody good on special team.
It was just top heavy.
Yeah.
It was top heavy. When you got outside of those first 22 guys, offense and defense, everything else was really up for grabs, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. And they did something weird. So they were only keeping like 3 corners on their active roster, which was like, I don't know, it was 4. They had 4 corners on their active roster, which is crazy because most teams keep like 5 or 6 or whatever.
6.
And so I was like, man, what? Like, man, and it wasn't to disrespect anybody on the team. It's just, y'all know who I am.
Yeah.
I wasn't even taking any special team reps like that when I was down there during training camp, because they already knew what I did. And they already knew who I was as far as when it came to that. So like I said, again, it was even more humbling, like of an experience. And it's not like losing confidence in myself, but it's just like, God, like, just I'm gonna keep bringing you down. I'm gonna keep bringing you down. I want you to see something. I want you to see something.
Gotcha.
So I needed to go through all of those experiences just so I could have, that piece of, to add more flavor really to the story, and so that I could relate to other guys, because you see other guys go through different experiences and you don't know what that's like unless you go through it. So I got to go through it firsthand. And so now when they get to talking about different, I'm like, oh yeah, bro, I know what that's like. I done been through almost every scenario except for getting traded. knock on wood. I hope I don't get traded. Just because I wouldn't want anything like that, because my daughter, you know, she's older. My oldest, she goes to school, and she's about to start the first grade and stuff. So even with to now, whatever team it was that I've been, you know, in talks with as far as contract, I'm like, look, if y'all are not serious about me, I don't even want to talk to you, because I got a daughter in school, and like she go everywhere I go. My wife and my kids, they travel with me. So whatever school she start in that year, she gonna finish in school that year. So it's not gonna be, you know, man, we're not sure where we want to go right now. You kind of fighting for a job, whatever. No. Tell me that right now up front. So I won't even talk to you, because I'm not gonna be no camp body. It's just to feel like, oh, y'all got guys that y'all want them to get over the hump, so we need to put a little bit more extra fire and pressure on. No. We're not doing that. Man.
They pick you up just to be a camp body, and I was a couple times, you know, just you know, a victim of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, and it happens. It happens. It happens. You know, it's the league. It's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's a lot of God for sure. Number one, and it's a lot of timing and a numbers game, and then sometimes it's just how the cookie crumble, and you just gotta, you know, you stand up in it, you know, or you just like, you know, sit back and just kind of see how it go, you know.
I feel you.
And I've seen it break a lot of dudes, like a lot of dudes.
It will, man, because when football is all that you know, since you're 4 or 5 years old, and now you're 25, or I say from 22 to 32, you know what I'm saying, a year at age, and that's all you know. You know, sometimes you get out in this real world. Not saying football isn't the real world, but when you talk about working every day and businesses, when you get out here in the real world, sometimes you can be lost. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a good balance of, you know, football and outside of football life, it'll really play on your mental, man.
Facts. And just because we're so conditioned to having a routine. We're used to following a schedule.
Itinerary.
A true itinerary. We've been doing the same thing since whenever you started football. Like most guys start playing like that 7 to 8 all the way up into, you know, the pros. So that's essentially that's 20 years of during a certain time, this is when I start training. This is when the season starts. And it just rolls like clockwork. All season
workouts. You know, all this stuff, OTAs, all this different stuff that you got to attend. It's all scheduled. You know your schedule. You know what your summer going to be like. You're planning your vacations time with your, you know, significant others. So, you know, everything's kind of playing out. And then when you don't have that, you kind of just up in limbo, man. It's like, you know, I don't want to plan nothing because I don't want to get a call and I can't make it and then go with somebody else. And, you know, I kind of ran into some, you know, different issues like that. But with me, it didn't never really play on me mentally because I was just always excited knowing that, hey, man, I'm, you know, from Augusta, you know, grew up, you know, Kissing Bow Road, S.C. McIntyre Boulevard. I shouldn't be here. So I'm happy to be, you know, along the ride, man. Just, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it was just like, man, I'm putting 120 in and I'm giving it my all. And I was able to get here and do some things that people wasn't able to do. And so it didn't really affect me like that because I was already kind of set up different businesses and different stuff I wanted to do outside just in case, you know what I'm saying? Because as you start going through the league, and I know you know it, you know, even better than me, as you see your, you know, the more years you get, you're getting closer to getting out. And you see guys fall off and don't be able to bounce back, thinking they're going to get back and don't never get back. And there's guys that should be in the league that's not in the league, and the guys that still playing, that probably shouldn't be playing over them guys. And so it's you know, it's like you said, it's pros and cons, man.
Facts. And you know, God is real, man. God got a plan for everybody.
For sure.
And just to briefly the end as far as the path of how I got to the different teams. So like I was saying, as far as with Tampa, I got released, you know, they went and signed me back or whatever, and I had a few different teams call me like, hey man, the Cardinals was one. And I didn't want to go back out west again. I'm like, God, I'm not trying to do that out west.
Arizona's nice, man.
I just had got to Tampa. I'm like, man, I'm finally getting close. I always wanted to start moving my way back closer to home, which how it was going. Started in Oakland, ended up in New York, had to Kansas City. I was like,
kind of moving back to the East Coast.
I'm getting back to the East Coast. I'm getting closer to home. Nope. Malcolm Butler had his situation that happened, and he was retiring. And I was like, man, I probably had like 6 or 7 teams that was calling to offer a practice squad position. And that's what it was with Arizona. And it was like, man, you got a great opportunity to come here. We don't have a second special team guy, and Malcolm Butler just retired. So there's a space that needs to be filled. and then they had this new start having a new league changes as far as with the COVID, how you can pull people up from COVID lists and all that weird stuff. So it was like, man, come down. So what you know, we already know what you can do, you know, on special teams, you know, and just do your thing when you get here.
Yeah, that's something you already know to do.
Yeah, and I'm like, ain't no pressure. And because my dog, Charles Washington, he was already the man there as far as one of the special teams guys. Yeah. And they you know, they big on special teams in Arizona. And so he was one gunner, but they didn't have another gunner. Right. And so they knew, you know, it was like, man, we can get him. Yeah, we know he does. Yeah, like he do this. And so whatever else that he does is just extra icing on the cake. So, and that's how I ended up in Arizona. So I got to Arizona. I was on practice squad. Right. I had never been on practice squad, so I'm on practice squad, and we had like 2 weeks before the season started. So I'm like, dang, man, I thought I was never gonna be on practice squad, but here I am. I was like, God got a way of humbling you. You know, everything that I said I didn't want to do, He made me experience it. Yeah. And so I had got to the point, I was like, babe, look, I'm just gonna shut up about, you know, as far as where I want to play, where I'm not gonna play, because, you know, obviously it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Yeah. And so I get out there, and the first week 1, we play. We go down to Jacksonville and play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. And I played, so I was on practice squad, but they would elevate me every game. Yeah. I played, started gunner, doing all the special team stuff that I do. Yeah. And every week we go on. We were playing, of course. We was winning. We was doing good. That's the year y'all kind of took off Kyler. Mm-hmm. We had the 7 or 8 game win streak or whatever it was, and we was looking really, really good. And
I thought you might win the Super Bowl, man. For real. I thought you had a legit shot.
For a long time, it definitely did look like that. And so for the first 3 weeks, I just kept getting lifted. So I was on practice squad, but I was getting active money because I was actually playing in the game. So I never missed a game like a practice squad player essentially would. Yeah, so every year, you know, I was still every week I was on the 53-man roster to play. Yeah. And so they finally pulled me up because they can only move you up and move you down 3 times. Right. And so they did that and finally put me on the 53-man roster, which is crazy because me and my boy Rasul Douglas, we both came in there together to be, you know, that extra DB that could play, you know, special team and stuff. And I used to play against him all the time because he played with the Eagles. Yeah. Before we got there, of course. And he was starting. He didn't play a whole lot of special team outside of his first couple years.
I remember Douglas,
and it's crazy because he was on practice squad and I was on 53-man roster. Yeah. And the Packers picked him up, and he went there and went crazy and got him a stupid deal. I want to say last year or the year before last.
I think last year. Yeah.
And so
he came out and ball.
Exactly, and it's crazy. Just like something like that alone, like I was saying, God has a plan for everybody because me and him was on practice squad together in Arizona, and he was not playing in the games. Like the first 5-6 weeks or whatever, we were doing good, and the Packers claimed him because they was having a lot of injuries going on, and he went there, started starting, and went absolutely crazy. And he got back in the position where he was in Philly. And so it was crazy, and to see like, man, you could be on practice squad and then mess around and go to somewhere else and just become the man. Yeah. And that's just, it's all about time. It's all about timing and health, you know, and health. And God got a plan for everybody, man. Yeah. And we don't know what it is. And we like to think that we're in control as far as everything it is that we do. You know, we like to say, you know, play after play, you know, you can control, you know, the controllables of, you know, eating healthy, studying the plays, making the plays that you're supposed to make. Man, no, you don't. No, you can't. Like, and like, when I developed that mindset of like, no matter what I do, I'm really not in control. Yeah. I started to have peace as far as with the game. And I started to go longer. I started to have better. I started to have more when I started just trusting and believing in God rather than all of myself. And like I was saying, the first couple of years of my career, I was trying to do it all by myself. I'm like, man, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then going on the scene, I'm like, bro, you got to let go. Let go.
Let go and let God.
Let go and let God, bro. Because he got a plan, and we don't know which way it go. And yes, the greatest gift that he give us is the ability to choose, to go right, to go left. And whatever it is that we decide to go, he already know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
And so, man, it's a beautiful thing, you know, when I look back and, you know, at the times and like with me being in year 8, and I look back and I'm like, man, I was really in some dark places during times because I was so in a place of the unknown, and I was so afraid of that because I hadn't been in those type of situations really where I did not know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's what the NFL, you know, brings out a lot of people, and it can drive you crazy if you don't have like a rock solid foundation to really lean on. So I'm thankful, you know, for the for the foundation and for my support group, you know, that I have within my family. My mom Tracy, my oldest brother Jakar, my little brother Josh.
Yeah.
You know,
everybody supporting you, man. That you need that,
facts, man. My little sister Talia, just to shout them out. You know, my grandfather, my grandmother, George and Margaret, and of course my wife, Tierra.
Just being that rock, like you said, man. Just
being there.
And I think, you know, when young guys get to the league, man, you know, just being a single man, you just kind of winging it yourself. You got a lot of, you know, got different money that you may not didn't have, you know, coming up. But like you said, but sometimes you just have that spouse and that, you know, that rock and that foundation just to help you maneuver.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of young men don't get that first coming in. You know, of course, as you go through the league, you may find a partner, significant other, you get married, and then you may have someone to help you kind of, steady the ship.
Yep.
But having that right off back, like you said, I'm pretty sure that, you know, like you said, that helped you out a whole lot, man.
Yeah. That was definitely a cheat code because I saved so much money.
Yeah.
As far as like don't get it confused. Like, you know how we grow up. You know, the first thing you say when you get money, man, I gotta get the big chain.
Yeah, it ain't like that.
All the girls, I gotta do all of this. But nah, I always said, like, of course, that when I got married and, you know, that opportunity presents itself, I was going to do it the right way because I wasn't raised in that type of home. Yeah. And so I was like, I always knew that I was like, you know, when I get married, you know, I'm just locked in. I'm not going to be on any of that crazy stuff. So that slowed me down as far as in a more maturity way to where that I wasn't going to the clubs. I wasn't popping bottles. You know, I wasn't buying one night outfits, you know, all this different stuff that you would be doing, you know, if you was a single man and you moving around, you gonna be fresh, you know, you trying to pull the girls or whatever. I wasn't doing that. I was at the crib. I was chilling.
Just chilling. Yeah.
I was just chilling and just trying to stack as much money as I can because, like I said, California taxes was something wicked.
Yeah.
And so
and you paying taxes on whatever state you playing, whatever you playing, you paying the taxes on that. You know, paying them state income taxes.
You paying it, and people say here, oh, $1 million deal. Oh, he just signed $1 million contract. Well, $1 million ain't $1 million unless you got at least 2.5. Because the IRS, how they say, what's his name? Uncle Sam.
Coming to get his.
He gonna come get his, and when you in California, 50% of that going on top. Yeah. And at that time when I came in the league, I think minimum was $450. So you do the math, 50% gone before taxes. I'm already down to $225.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And I ain't bought nothing.
You ain't bought nothing. That's cars, a home. You know what I'm saying? You know, of course, you might want to take care of different people that made sacrifices for you to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So you just trying to, you know, but at the same time, you got to take care of you first before you can take care of anyone else.
Facts. And
you know
so you gonna,
you gonna go through some money, man. I done it. Man. I probably was. I think I was maybe one of the worst.
You know me too.
You know
me too.
But my mom and they kind of was trying to steward me, but I always was the guy. I got it. But man. I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? Looking back now, I'm like, man, I really didn't have it. I thought I had it, but you know, I probably should have listened. You know what I'm saying?
Man, for sure. Because you gonna get a lot of the stuff that you wanted that you couldn't get beforehand. It's just natural.
Yeah, the old school cars, man.
Man, and
wherever I seen one, hey man, let me get that, man. We're gonna fix this up. We're gonna do this, man. We come back home, man. We going out to Jackson, and hey, we're gonna see what they got. They ain't got nothing up under the hood like I got up under the hood, man.
We're not even gonna get started on my $40,000 piece of junk that I got sitting in my grandparents' backyard right now.
Really? Hey,
that I bought my second year. It's a 1965 Chevelle.
Oh, hey, that's
with a brand new 383 stroker motor in it and a transmission that only got like I said, the motor and transmission only got 15 15 miles on it.
Yeah.
But it's been sitting down since 2017. Has not driven because it's wrecked. Because some dudes out in
Man, that's 6 years.
California, yes, some dudes out in California wrecked my car. They were working on my junk, and they tried to finesse me. And I got a $40,000 bill sitting in my backyard right now. So
crazy,
I too
man.
went through a lot of bull junk when it came to the money. And I was fortunate enough that God spared me, throughout this time, that time recoup, that money for me. Because I remember after the start of my first year, like I said, and taxes and all that stuff is real. And I wasn't a star player, so I wasn't getting no outside endorsements or appearances and all these extra deals. And so I'm living off of what I made. Man, before the start of that second season, so how I already told you I was down to 225 as far as that's what I would pocket before I get a rent. I like pay rent, get,
all that.
A car, insurance, food, whatever. I'm down to $225,000.
Yeah.
By the time that season started, my second year, I was down to like $25,000.
Yeah, and people don't understand. $225 in California is essentially no money.
Man, that ain't
you
nothing.
really living like someone that works a job every day.
Man, what? And the greatest thing that happened to me, and I was always big on like how I was gonna live. I was like, man, I'm not living in no little rundown spot. I'm gonna live in something nice. So
yeah, definitely, as you should.
I negotiate how I live since I've been in the league. So I had a townhome. Dude wanted like $5,500 a month. I said, no, I'm not doing that. And it was in the up and coming community in Dublin, right outside of Oakland and stuff. And I was like, and it was in the suburbs. And I'm like, man, this is how I gotta live. Yeah. And I was like, man, you can leave this thing sitting right here,
right, if
you want to. But I'm about to go down the road, this same type of townhome right around the corner. They gonna off. I just offered them $3,300, and I'm gonna give them 3 months rent. And I'm basically giving somebody, if y'all hear this right now, the cheat code of how to do it. I'm gonna get them $3,300 rent first 3 months in advance, along with the security deposit. And that's how I always negotiate my contract, my deals as far as how I do my lease term agreements.
Yeah,
and so
that's definitely free game, man. So somebody's definitely they're gonna hear this when this get out.
Yeah,
that's free game, man. For all you guys out here, man, trying to play to make it to the league, man. Yeah. But Antonio, man, just it is a guy that's done it the way you've done it. It's been an anomaly, you would say, because you don't see a lot of undrafted guys play 8 years. Yeah, that's usually the guys, first, second, third, fourth round draft picks. But a guy like you just hung your hat on special teams, man, and really made that your element. Like I said, you don't receive. So for a guy that went undrafted just like you did, I told your brother, I said, man, it's definitely much respect for a guy to kind of find his niche.
Appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying, and just stay in that element and took it serious. And now like you 8 years in, man, now we see you last year, man, starting picks.
Yep.
Making plays, now now becoming something, becoming such a major factor in building the Arizona Cardinals back to a contender, out there in that the NFC West.
Yep.
It's definitely a monster.
Yes.
It's definitely a monster out there because you got San Fran. LA was good. They just went to the Super Bowl. San Fran just comes off two back-to-back NFC championship games.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And Seattle.
Arizona was good. Seattle, now they're back in the playoff picture. So at any point, that division is kind of up for grabs each year. You know what I'm saying? It's no surprise. I'm pretty sure no one's not surprised. Whoever wins it, they're gonna definitely earn it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So like I said, so big, just big shout out to you for that, man. Like I said, just somebody like me who've done it, not as long as you have, but also done it, man. I always like, man, that's respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a respect right there because a lot of guys just don't get just don't play that long, you know what I'm saying? And it's different elements because they don't. It could be, just bad habits or, just not, working hard enough or, or the main thing, injuries.
Yep.
You don't get it. But like I said, man, shout out to you for just being able to maintain, man, and just keep pushing forward. 8 years in, man, you about to hit the 10-year mark, you know what I'm saying? Praying for that for you, bro, that you do that, man. So, man, just it's many like people that's gonna see this, man. I follow you on social media, man. Many people that's viewing, they follow you on social media, man. I just see, man, how your faith, and being a devout Christian, just is like kind of motivates you every day, man. Just seeing the different, posts and different stuff, like people that just kind of tapped in on your social media, man. So just how has, man, your faith just helped you in your NFL career?
Yeah, so man, like I said, I used to think that I could control everything. And when I found out, that I'm not in control and that God is in ultimate control, and I started to surrender myself and my life to Him, right, and allow Him to guide me, in whichever way that is, my life got better. It got a lot easier. And so I'm not to sit here and say or act like I'm this perfect man. Like, right. I'm not.
No one is.
And so, you're going to see some people that see it because what I choose to, show on my social media page, right, you're not going to see me, smoking. You're not going to see me really drinking or anything like that. You're going to see, the first thing you're going to see is a Bible verse. I post Bible verses every morning that I wake up. Yeah. When I'm on social media, sometimes I take a little hiatus from it just to clear my mind, because you gotta detox, the body, because when you see a lot of stuff that's going on, it's easily to be consumed by what you're seeing,
and you get drawn in.
Yeah, and you get drawn into it. And you start doing all kind of little stupid little stuff and get caught up in it. But my faith is what, along with my family, that's what keeps me going. And that's how I'm able to stay along in the right track. And like I said again, so if anybody that doesn't know me, you're going to see my page. So don't think that I'm perfect. I had the same, different type of flaws as you. I don't think that I'm no better than you. So I still post my rap music. I listen to my rap music. You catch me on a bad day, I might cuss you out. Yeah. Might even put my hands on you, because it's just, I'm not perfect.
Yeah, it's just being a human.
Facts. And that's who Jesus, came for. Jesus didn't come, for those who are super duper perfect. He came for those who are outlaws. He came to those who have flaws. Yeah. And then He died for all of us. And I'm one of those. And so I'm thankful for Him to come down and, and to die, for my sins. And for those, just like me. And I just try to spread His word and be a vessel and allow Him to use me in whichever way that I can. And I just try to, teach and tell those, about the word of God, who don't know it.
Right,
and because there's a lot of people believe it or not, there's a lot of guys in the locker room that don't know it. They don't believe in absolutely anything but money. And so I think that God has been keeping me here for a long time to just use my platform and to show some people, how to walk, in the right way, and just how to stand up tall and have some type of, morals and principles about how to do things, and how to give God, the praise and the glory. And because, it ain't all about you at the end of the day. What I do is not for me. It's for the glory of God and, for my family. So that's where my faith, and all that come from.
And that's much respect, man. Like I said, someone who kind of, sees the post, man, and just who lived the life and understands, man, how important to have that foundation, not only family, but to have God a part of your life, because that's what you need to make it in this world. And whatever profession you decide to go in, whether it's, professional sports or, working an everyday 9 to 5, you're definitely going to need, God on your side just to keep steering you, man. Antonio, man, it's been great, having you in, man. Before we get out of here, like I said, man, you had your camp today, man. The youth was there, done something big for Johnston, man. But just for this, anybody, any young man or young woman out there, an athlete, this aspiring to be something, man. Just any type of motivation for them, man. Anything you can just drop on them, man.
Yeah. Number one, first and foremost, always keep God first.
For sure.
And if you don't have a relationship with Him, find a relationship with Him. Start by picking up a Bible and then just start reading. Gotcha. You know what I mean? And lean on those around you and just try to, get that relationship started, number one. And two, whatever you do, you got to put your heart into it no matter what. You know what I mean? And you always got to be mindful of the people that's around you, because your securities may agitate their insecurities. Yeah. So you have to be careful about what it is that you're doing around certain people, because you're going to have those who believe in you, and then you're going to have those around you who don't believe in you.
Gotcha.
And they want to see you do bad, especially if they don't have anything going their way. So, and don't think just because you haven't, like I saw Denzel, I heard Denzel Washington say one time, don't confuse motion with going forward. Yeah. You can be moving and standing in the same spot. If you got to be moving forward. If you failing, let it be falling forward. Yeah. So don't get it misconfused. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
That's what's
motion, moving in one spot, you ain't doing that. Keep going forward. You got to be moving forward, doing something, even if you whether you failing or you winning. Just keep moving forward.
Moving forward.
Keep
That was
moving
up, man.
forward,
Hey, man, I think we all can lean on that word, man. Just keep moving forward. You know, no matter what you're doing in life, of course it's gonna be, if you want to do something in life, it's always gonna be obstacles there, always gonna be, you know, different things that may come in the way. But like you said, no matter what happens, man, if you take a loss, it's not really a loss because you're falling forward, man. You know what I'm saying? So, man, Antonio, man, from me to you, man, definitely, man, just appreciate you, man, sitting down here, coming down here with Wills, man, taking out your time. I know, you know, very busy, man, trying to get the camp here together. But like, hey, we here, man, we done it, bro. So, hey, Big Ham, man.
Yes,
bro.
sir. I ain't even look. I ain't even gonna mess you up. You know,
yeah, you good.
I done got you.
You good.
I was thinking about like, nah, I can't get him. I can't get him.
But Big Ham, man, definitely,
Yes,
man, appreciate you, man. Hey,
I appreciate
Press
you.
Kevin's podcast, man. This is episode 14, man. We get in the house with Antonio Hamilton, man. Currently of the Arizona Cardinals, man. Get ready. Hey, year 8, man. He's a vet now. So, hey, we wishing him the best, man. Yes, hey, let's see if we can get another Super Bowl champion from the CSRA, man.
Yes,
that's what we
That's
what we're wishing upon you, man. So, hey,
Yes,
man,
sir.
like I said, thanks again, man. Press Coverage Podcast, hey, you know, hey, this is episode 14. Like I said, man, leave your comments, man. You know, like your video, subscribe, man. We definitely appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we over and out.
Thank you.
Hey, this is a song for my haters. Yeah, you got me feeling like the greatest.